Today I thought I would tell a story about this happened in 1986 when I was living in Detroit, Michigan. I think at the time it was 1986 or 87. I had gone to school out there, and I was living in one of my uncles. He's not my blood, like, he's my uncle by marriage. I guess he'd still be my uncle. My cousins were cousins by marriage. And I was living out there, and I was living in one of my uncle's apartment buildings, and it was a 50-unit building, and kind of it was in the hood a little bit. You know, it was off Wayne State University, which is a big university in Detroit, and the story is about me, my half-cousin or cousin. We just said we were cousins because it was easier to say them by marriage, and it was my cousin Casey and another friend John, and my cousin Casey had the idea that let's go pick up they had prostitutes in the neighborhood, and he said, let's go pick one up and we'll drop her off somewhere. So John and I were like, no, let's go do something, you know. Why? You know, what's the point? He's like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. So he kept saying it'd be fun, and we both were like, no, I don't want to do that. No, what's the point? It's a waste of time. Let's go downtown or Detroit and do something. And at the time, my cousin his aunt had given him a car, which was it was a 1976 station wagon. So it was an older station wagon for the time, but it was mint condition. It had like 30,000 miles on it. It was, you know, a nice old station wagon. And so he says, come on. So he went and we picked her up, and we drove her into Wayne State University, which is about 5 blocks from where we lived. And so he tells her, you know, at the point he's like, we pulled up to a side of the road, and he says, he told her to get out of the car, and she said she wouldn't get out. She wanted to get $20 just for us hassling her. After he kept telling her to get out, she said, I'll get out, but you're going to give me $20. Well, at the time, my cousin didn't have any money, and so she won't get out of the car. I'm a little pissed off that we even did this. So I get out of the car and I walk behind. I remember there was a bookstore. It was Wayne State University bookstore. I don't know if it was the school's bookstore or not, but I walked behind it, and I'm hanging outside behind. I can see through the window, and I can see him and the car, and I'm watching. And then the other guy we were with, John, he comes over and he's like, I'm coming with you, you know. And I said, well, you know, whatever, you know. He said she's not getting out of the car unless comes up with $20. Well, my cousin Casey comes over, and he says, he comes out of the car, he leaves her in the car, and he comes over and goes, she won't get out of the car, she's got a razor knife, unless I give her $20. The next thing you know, you hear the car screeching wheels. She drove off with the car. She took off with the car. Well, where we picked her up was down there where we lived. So I started running down the block towards, she'd have to go one way to get down to where she wanted to go. That's where we figured she would head. So I ran down the block. Well, here she comes, driving the car, and the car is making all kinds of noise. It's rattling, you know, and this car did not do that before. So anyways, I'll get to, she had driven over some curbs or something and wrecked the bottom of the car, tore the muffler and tore something else on the car up. Well, so she wouldn't let us get back in the car. Well, she said she'd give the car back if we gave her $20, so I had to give my cousin $20 to get the car, which I was pissed at the time. That was, because I wasn't interested in doing any of that, and we had to give her $20. So she will only let one person back in the car, which is him. So he gets in the car, they drive back to drop her off back down to 5 blocks away from where we were, and he comes back to picks us back up after he gets the car. He's pissed because she's ruined the car. She's destroyed something underneath the car, and so he's pissed. He's so pissed off. He's like, we're gonna go get your $20 back, and I just want to go home. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. This is in Detroit. This is not in the best neighborhood. In that time, 1986, 87, that area, crack cocaine and just a lot of gang stuff was going on in that neighborhood. And so we go back. He drives down the road. She's walking. He drives down. He skids on the. He skids to a stop sign. He jumps out of the car. He runs over. We all get out of the car, all three of us at this point after he picked us up. I'm standing outside the door, and he runs over and he head tackles her. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is going on? He takes her. She had some shoes and I guess a jacket. He took her shoes and her jacket and threw them up on some little building that was on the road there, on the roof of some store. And a car comes screeching to a stop, beeping the horn, and like trying to, I don't know, scare us off or scare my car. We were standing by the car. I don't really remember what he was doing with it, but I know as I ran, I took off. I ran through some. We're about a couple blocks at this time from where my uncle his house had a. Had a back door. It had a gatehouse. He lived on a historic block, and it had all these old houses, big like kind of mansions, and what I would call mansions. So I ran to the gate, and I had a key to the back gate. So I don't even want to look back. I run through the alley. This is a bad, around there's bad. It's probably midnight or something like that, and I ended up get the key in the gate. I open the gate. I run it. I was totally scared. And that's kind of the end of the story. That's just a crazy story, a fun time, I guess. Stupid stuff we did when we were younger. I was probably 19 years old, maybe 20, and I had a lot of fun out there living in Detroit for a little while. Just did a lot of crazy stuff, and that was a crazy night. I got many of them. I'll probably tell some more, and that's just all I thought I would do today, was tell a story about something I did in the past. And if my mom is watching this, I should have said it at the beginning, don't listen. Don't pick up hookers. You can only get into trouble.